Isang pagbati na may ngiti sa aking mga labi. Naghahanap ba kayo ng makakatuwang sa pagre-review ng inyong anak? Meron yan sa DepEd. Ang ETUlay online tutorial ay libre at handog ng ating kagawaran sa pangunguna ng OUA ICTS EdTech. Ito ay isang proyektong makatutulong sa mga mag-aaral, katuwang ang mga magulang o kasama sa kani-kanilang tahanan para masagutan at maunawaan ang mga modules. Hangad din ng programang ETUlay ang matulungan ang ating mga guro sa kanilang mga blended learning classes. Ang ating ETUlay ay mula kinder hanggang senior high school. Bukod sa academics, meron din tayong mga special programs gaya ng All is Wellness, Reading and Math Remediation, Storytelling, Mommy Tech Talks, Classes sa Gramatika, Speech Class, Financial Literacy, at marami pang iba. Pinalawig din ng ETUlay ang ating Alive program para sa mga mag-aaral mula grade 1 hanggang grade 3. Gayun din ay mayroon tayong ALS program at SPED tutorials na makasisigurong makakamit ng lahat ang inclusive education. May SPED hotline na rin para sa inyong mga katanungan patungkol sa special education. Kaya, subaybayan mula Lunes hanggang Biyernes, mula 9:00 ng umaga hanggang 7:00 ng gabi ang ating ETUlay. Sa ating pagtutulungan, maiaangat natin ang bawat isa. Ating itutulay ang pagkatuto upang di mapigil ang pag-aaral ng kabataang Pilipino. Itulay natin ito, sulong edukalidad.
Mabuhay! Good day to all! I am your tutor Madge. Welcome to ETUlay, a free online tutorial, an initiative of the Department of Education, Information and Communications Technology Service, Educational Technology Unit, ICTS EdTech. This program is aimed at helping and assisting learners from kindergarten, senior high school, ALS, Alive and SPED learners. Aside from answering the modules, the ETUlay is offering programs which you will surely look forward to. Together with our parents and teachers, the ETUlay will bridge the gaps where difficulty and ease meet in learning new knowledge and skills. So, let us prepare our modules, pen and paper. Ready your mind to see and hear worthwhile and interesting lessons. Let us now study and learn, together with our volunteer online tutors. Tara na!
Okay, ayan. So again, good afternoon po sa ating lahat. Magandang hapon sa lahat ng mga manonood natin. Ayan. Magandang hapon sa lahat ng mga manonood all over the country and magindi sa ibang lugar. So for our dear students and teachers, good afternoon, and of course, supervised by our parents. So bago muna tayo magsimula ng ating online session for today, ay shoutout muna tayo sa ating mga manonood. So ito po, si Mark Edward, sabi niya, present, watching and listening from SDO, Mabalacat City, Pampanga. Hashtag ETUlay Level Up. Yes, thank you very much. Ito din si Bizali Lazarito, watching from San Roque Central Elementary School, Davao City. Wow, all the way from Davao. Good afternoon sa iyo, Bizali. Ayan, si Mary Jean Baroga, watching from Ramon Central School. Ayan, good afternoon. Si Malin Malanao Beltran, watching from Delphine Albano High School, SDO Isabela. Ayan, si Daphne Mandalupe. Ayan, good afternoon po. Watching from San Roque Central Elementary School, grade 6, Lapu-Lapu. Ayan, good afternoon. And of course, shoutout din sa aking co-teacher dito sa Las Piñas North National High School, Sir Patrick Melendez. Good afternoon, Sir Pat. Ayan. Ayan, sa aking former student din, si Carl Joshua Canto Messina. Hi, Sir Alma. Ayan, si Laika Alea, good morning, watching from San Roque Central Elementary School, San Roque District, Davao City. Ayan, so itong mga sumunod, yung ating mga Solvemates, sina Adrian Ray Rivera at si Gerald R.V. Dula Cantor. Good afternoon sa inyo. Okay, so far so good. So welcome again to our ETUlay online tutorial. Today is Mathematics Day Friday, of course. And especially dahil ngayon ay Friday, ay tapos na din o matatapos na din tayo sa ating first quarter for our school year 2021-2022. So bago muna tayo magsimula, so hayaan nyo muna akong parangalan ang ating mga Tuties of the Week. So ito, may nakalimutan kasi kami ni Tutor Prince na banggitin nung last meeting, no? So, igagawad lang natin ito. So, for the Tutie of the Week, nung week 6, ito ay si Mr. Gerald R.V. Dula Cantor, ang ating soulmate. Congratulations sa iyo, Gerald R.V. Dula Cantor. So, wala muna tayong sa sound effects for now. Nasa bahay. So, nandito kasi ako sa school ngayon. Ayan. So, palakpak muna ang maibibigay ko sa iyo, Gerald R.V. Ayan. So, for our Tuties of the Week, nung week 7, that was 2 weeks ago. So, actually, marami-raming mga Tuties of the Week sa week na yan. So, hopefully, sa mga susunod na week meetings natin ay naway mas marami-rami pa tayo mga Tuties of the Week. Ayan. Okay. So, sino-sino nga ba ang ating mga Tuties of the Week? Isa-isay natin. So, sila ay sina... Ayan, si Arian May Zacarias, ang ating soulmate. Ganon din si soulmate Nerwin P. Negal Jr. Congratulations. Ayan. Again, yung ating soulmate ng week 6, si Gerald R.V. Dula Cantor, ang ating soulmate. Ayan, of course, itong suking-suki natin, si Enaj Erica J. Galang, ang ating soulmate. Ayan. Of course, we have here Jeric Johan S. Ramirez. Hello. Congratulations, soulmate. Ito, I think bago lang siya. So congratulations also to you, Ian Gail Ramos Dilay, ang ating soulmate. Of course, another soulmate, si Henry Stephen Kadapan. Congratulations to you. Dagdag ko na rin, ito, bago din tong soulmate natin. Ito, si Maria Riana Mitisha T. Sempron, ang ating soulmate. Congratulations. And of course, isa pang soulmate natin, si Gracie N. Kionisala. Ayan, ang ating soulmate. Congratulations. And of course, ang isa pang soulmate natin, si Adrian Ray Rivera. Ayan, congratulations to you. Ayan. And of course, ang last but definitely not the least, si Tristan Uriel Cruz. Congratulations sa ating mga soulmates. Ayan. So ano nga ba yung sinagutang problem ng ating mga soulmates nung last meeting? Okay, so ito yon yung homework natin. So ayan, bago muna. So by the way, this will be our lesson for today. So since according to our most essential learning competencies or MELCs, ang mathematics for first quarter is 9 weeks. So I'll be tackling 2 lessons for today. But hopefully I'll be finished within the period. And that is week 8, division of decimals by powers of 10. We have 0.1, 0.01, 0.001, or we have 1/10, 100, and 1,000. And we have also dividing by 10, 100, and 1,000 as well. And also, I'll be discussing week number 9, which is differentiating terminating from repeating non-terminating decimal quotients. Ayan. So again, abangan po kami ni Tutor Prince. So ang aking kasamang soulmate, si Tutor Prince. And of course, ang inyong Math Bay, si Tutor Andre. Every Friday po, 1 o'clock to 1:40 p.m. mula sa ating mga Facebook pages and YouTube pages, sa ating DepEd EdTech Unit, DepEd Tayo, DepEd Philippines, DepEd EdTech, and DepEd TV. Ayan. So maraming salamat po. Okay, so maraming salamat din sa Division Office sa pagpapahiram sa ating mga modules para magabayan ang ating mga estudyante. So mula po sa ating author, Ma'am Maria Marela D. Gallinero, editors, Ma'am Portia G. Galanto, and the others, sa ating mga reviewers, illustrator, layout artists, and management team. And for this module as well, we have the authors, Ma'am Lenny Rose E. Tabi Franca and Ma'am Realine F. Crispe, editors, Ma'am Rebecca O. Billones, and the others, reviewers, illustrators, layout artists, and management team. Maraming salamat po sa inyo, mga ma'am and sir. Okay, so objectives after going through this module, you're expected to know the following. You have to divide decimals up to 4 decimal places by 1/10, 100, and 1,000. Divide decimals up to 2 decimal places by 10, 100, and 1,000 mentally. Take note, mentally, using your mind. Differentiate terminating from repeating non-terminating decimal quotients. Ayan. Also, we have to solve, syempre hindi mawawala sa ating lesson, ang pagsosolve ng ating routine and non-routine problems involving division of decimals, mixed decimals, and whole numbers, including money, using appropriate problem-solving strategies and tools. And so with division of decimals, mixed decimals, and whole numbers, including money. Okay, so gaya nga po na nabanggit ko kanina, muli, ano po ba yung sinagutang homework ng ating mga solvemates? So, i-wrap up ko lang. Ayan. So, ito po yung homework ng last meeting using our hashtag BAT6Q1 Week 7. So, ito ay medyo challenging ng konti. So, sabi dito, the sum of all the rows, columns, and the shaded diagonal is 12. Complete the table and look for the values of A, B, C, and D. Then, afterwards, determine the value of the quotient of A plus B and C minus D. So how are you going to solve for the value of the expression, the quotient of A plus B and C minus D? So first things first, of course, I have to elaborate the steps. The first step is to find the missing number on the first row, first column. This one, of course, you have the shaded green region. That's the first column, first row. And then we let that as letter M. So let M be the missing number. So we have that. So we have M plus 4.32 plus 3.15 is equal to 12. We have to add the diagonals. Ayan. So of course, we solve for M. We have to add first 4.32 by 3.15. That's 7.47. So what number, when you add when you add it by 7.47, the result is 12. Of course, to find that number, you're going to subtract 12 by 7.47. So that is 12 minus 7.47, and therefore, M will be 4.53. So therefore, 4.53 is the missing number on the first row, first column. Next, second, let's find the missing number on the second row, third column. So that is second row, third column. So that will be N. So we let N be that missing number. So therefore, we have N there. So we have 2.61 plus 4.32 plus N is equal to 12. So just like what we did earlier, so we will add first 2.61 by 4.32. So that will be 6.93 plus N is equal to 12. And again, what number when you added from 6.93 will yield to 12. So that will be 12 minus 6.93, and that is 5.07 or 5 7/100. So far, so good. Third step, we will now solve for A. So since A there is already shown on the third row, first column, so we have to add the numbers vertically on the first column. So what we know is that the sum of all the numbers in the first column is 12. So that's why we have 4.53 plus 2.61 is plus A is equal to 12. So therefore, we have to add 4.53 and 2.61. So the result will be 7.14. And of course, what number when added from 7.14 will give us 12. So that is 12 minus 7.14, and that is 4.86. Similarly, we'll do the same for C. So to solve for C, since you have already 4.86, and on the right side of C is 3.15, so we have to add the numbers on the last row. And again, the sum of all those numbers in the last row is 12. So that's why we have 4.86 plus C plus 3.15 is equal to 12. So again, we add 4.86 and 3.15 will give us 8.01. And again, what number when added by 8.01 gives 12? We have to subtract 12 by 8.01, and we'll have 3.99 as our answer. So that's for the value of C. Next, fifth step, we will now solve for D. So you may use any techniques. You may add diagonally, or you may add the third column numbers. So again, we have to consider the third column in our problem. So again, the sum of the numbers in the third column is 12. So that's why you have D plus 5.07 plus 3.15 equals to 12. Therefore, we have to add 5.07 by 3.15. That's 8.22. And we subtract 12 by 8.22 to get the value of D, and D will be 3.78. Now, next, we have already the last number. We have the value of B. So we'll solve for B. And again, you may use any method. So in our case, we have to add the numbers in the second column. So we have 12 as the sum of the numbers in the second column. So that's why we have B plus 4.32 plus 3.99 is equal to 12. So therefore, we have to add 4.32 by 3.99, and that will become 8.31. And again, what number when added by 8.31 will give us 12. So we subtract 12 by 8.31 and will give us 3.69. So we have 3.69, and therefore we have the values of A, B, and C, and D as well. So we have the values of A, B, C, and D, which are 4.86, 3.69, 3.99, and 3.78 respectively. Ayan. And then, once we already know the values of A, B, C, and D, that's the time we have to substitute or replace the given letters by their values. So therefore, we will have the sum of 4.86 and 3.69 divided by the difference of 3.99 and 3.78. Of course, we have to apply the concept of the order of operations. That's PEMDAS. So since we have two grouping symbols there, so we have to add the two groups. So first group is 4.86 plus 3.69, and second group is 3.99 minus 3.78. And therefore, that will become 8.55 divided by 0.21. And of course, if you divide the two numbers manually, we will get a quotient of, we have this 40.714285 with the bar over. Why? Why do you have that bar? Because that bar symbolizes that the digits in 40.714285 or the digits 714285 are repeating. So paulit-ulit. So the final answer will be 40.714285, 714285, 714285, and so on and so forth. So therefore, the digits there are repeated. So that's why we put a bar on those digits. So that's why you have the final answer. And that's why all our solvemates got the correct answer. So again, congratulations to our solvemates. Okay, so now we are done with our homework. Wrap up. So we will now start our discussion for today. So our lesson for today is lesson number 1, which is about dividing decimals up to 4 decimal places by 1/10, 100, and 1,000. So how do we divide decimals up to 4 decimal places by 1/10, 100, and 1,000? Okay. So therefore, let's consider this problem that I have prepared. Ayan. So let us read and study this problem. So hashtag mask is a must. Ayan. So syempre, dahil ngayon ay nasa pandemya pa din tayo, kailangan pa din tayong magsuot ng mask. At lalo medyo niluwagan na ang paglabas, no? So pwede na makalabas ang ilang mga bata. So yun nga lang, ingat-ingat pa din po tayo. Okay, let's consider this problem. So the problem says, Mrs. Alvarez wants to make face masks. If each face mask measures 1/10 meter, how many face masks can she make from 34 and 7200 meters of cloth? Okay. So again, that is our problem for today. So how are you going to find the correct answer? Okay, so let us see. While waiting for the correct answer, or while waiting for answers, let's have shout out muna. So we have Trisha Denise. Good afternoon po, watching from West Central School, Santa Maria, Pangasinan, Region 1. Advisor, Ma'am Gloria Petrola, Grade 6, Masinop. Uy, okay, and also we have Phil Sebastian Sardido. Good afternoon po. Watching from Marilao Central Integrated School, SDO Bulacan, Grade 6 SSC. Who is advisor um, Maika Ranzel V. Gakusan. Ayan. So, ito yung mga sagot ng karamihan, no? So, somebody answered 347.2, 347, 347 face mask. Okay, 347.2 face mask. Ayan, and so on and so forth. So, same answers ang sinagutan nila. But ang nauna ay si Mr. Gerald R.V. Dula Cantor, 347.2. Okay, let us see. So, how are we going to solve this problem? Of course, since we have to reproduce the number of face masks from the 34.72 meters of cloth, and each face mask measures 0.1 meter, so we have to divide 34.72 by 0.01. So how are you going to divide 34 point, 34.72 by 0.1? I mean, I stand corrected. So how are you going to divide 34.72 by 0.1? Okay, so to divide 34.72 by 0.1, sorry for my penmanship because I didn't bring my pen, so that's why I'm using my mouse. Okay, sorry, hope you understand my penmanship. Okay, so we have to divide the 34.72 by 0.1. So in our case, we have to move the decimal point of the divisor first one place to the right. It is because we have to change the whole the whole divisor into a whole number. So we have to move the decimal point one place to the right. And since we move one decimal place to the right in the divisor, so we will have to do the same thing with our dividend. Remember, that was our lesson 2 weeks ago about dividing decimals with tutor prints, right? So therefore, if we move the decimal points one place to the right, so that will become, so the dividend will become 347.2. And of course, our divisor will become 1. And of course, we will now have 347.2 divided by 1. And of course, as we all know, any number, when divided by 1, the result is the number itself. So that's why the answer will be 347.2. But take note, we are asked to find the number of face masks. Obviously, since we have our answer as a decimal, and we have to determine the number of face masks, syempre, ang face mask ay we take it as a countable number. So that's why it should be a counting number. So that's why we have to approximate 347.2 to the nearest whole number, and that will become 347 face masks. So therefore, our final answer will be 347 face masks. Okay. So hope that you understand our lesson. So let us see our next problem. So by the way, these are the steps in dividing decimals up to 4 decimal places by 1/10. So again, first step is to change the divisor to a whole number by multiplying it by 10, or just simply move the decimal point one place to the right. And we also do the same thing with our dividend. So that's why once you finish step 1, you will now divide the new dividend by the new divisor, the way you divide whole numbers. Okay. So hope that you understand our problem. So sa mga nakakuha ng 347 face masks, very good. Ang gagaling ng ating mga kids. Okay. Let's have this another problem. Okay. So labas dito ang ating mga plantita at plantito. Hashtag plantita plantito. Okay. So let us have this problem. It says, in an experiment setup, 9.5 liters of water are placed in a container for misting some plants. Every minute, it sprays 100 liter of water. How long will the water last? Okay, so take note of this. In an experiment setup, 9 5/10 liters of water are placed in a container for misting some plants. Every minute, it sprays 100 liter of water. The question is, how long will the water last? So we are asked to find the time the water lasts. Okay, so may mga nagsagot na dito. So according to our first student here, we have Enaj, ang ating suking solvemate. Her answer is 950 minutes, 950 minutes. So with Gerald RV, Arian May, ayan, si Daisy Lynn, Kagawan, Kevin Martin, 950 minutes. Angelic Joyce, so far, pare-parehas naman ang sagot ang ating mga dear students. So let us see if you get the correct answer. So again, since we will determine the number of minutes, so since we are asked to find how long, so we're talking about the time. So how long will the water last? So to do that, we will divide 9.5 by 0.01, or we divide 9 and 5/10 by 100. So how are we going to do that? So again, so we have to write it in this way. So we have 0.01 as our divisor, and we have 9.5 as our dividend. Okay, so again, since our divisor is a decimal, so you have to change that to a whole number. So how are you going to do that? We are going to move the decimal point of the divisor 2 places to the right, since we have 2 decimal places. And to become a whole number, we move the decimal point 2 places to the right. So therefore, we now have 1 here. And since our decimal point in our divisor is moved 2 places to the right, so we will also do the same thing with our dividend. So we also move 2 places to the right, 1 and 2. And since we have a space here, so we have to annex a 0. So we have 950 or 950. So we now have 950 divided by 1. So therefore, 950 divided by 1 is 950. So our final answer will be the water will last for 950 minutes. Okay, very good. Sa mga nakakuha ng tamang sagot, ang gagaling ng ating mga kids So sana nga lang, again, gaya ng lagi namin sinasabi ni Tutor Prince, hopefully you're not using your calculators and you are going to solve the problems manually. Okay, so far so good. So we have the steps again. So just like what we did earlier, so we again change the divisor to a whole number by multiplying it by 100, since you have 2 decimal places. Or just simply move the decimal point 2 places to the right. And we also do the same thing with the dividend. So we also multiply by 100. And again, when necessary, we have to annex or put 0 or zeros in the dividend if there are empty place values or kung may mga spasyo or spaces, no? And of course, second step is to divide the new dividend by the new divisor the way you divide whole numbers. Okay, next, let's have this problem. So we have hashtag Helianthus annuus. Hopefully, I pronounced it correctly. Ayan. So, ayan. So, ano nga ba ang hashtag Helianthus annuus? So, ito ay scientific name ng sunflower. Ayan. Okay. So, hopefully, I pronounced that correctly. Ayan. Hello po. Panonood din tayo si Ma'am Jenny Balboda Cruz. Hello po, Ma'am Jenny. Ate Jen. Hello po. Ayan, nanonood sa atin. So, here's the problem for this day. Ayan. Sunflowers are planted along the 1,463,000 kilometer highway. The distance from each sunflower is 1,000 kilometer. How many sunflowers are there along the highway from end to end? Ayan. So, saan kaya? Parang nakakamiss pumunta ng Baguio. Kasi nung nagpunta ako ng Baguio, ang daming sunflowers din dun eh. Hopefully, makakita ulit ako ng sunflowers soon. Ayan. Anyways, so, ayan, may mga sagot na. So, base sa nakikita ko, um, they answered the following. So, nagsimula kay Enaj. Her answer is 1,463 sunflowers. Sinundan din ni na Kevin Martin, Doluntap, Angelic Joyce Quintano, Adrian Ray Rivera, Arian May Zacarias, Gerald RV, ayan, and so on and so forth. So, all of them answered the same, 1,463 sunflowers. So, let us see if the answer is correct. So, again, you have to divide 1,463 or 1 and 463 rather 1.463 by 0.001. So again, just like what we did earlier, so we have to move the decimal point of the divisor 3 places to the right so that it will become a whole number. So we have there one already in our divisor, and since we move the decimal point of the divisor 3 places to the right, so we will also do the same thing with our dividend. So therefore, we will now have 1, 2, and 3. So that's why you have 1,463 as our new dividend. And therefore, we will divide 1,463 by 1, and that will become 1,463 sunflowers. So therefore, there are 1,463 sunflowers. Very good. Ang gagaling talaga ng ating mga kids. Okay, so far so good. So again, if we divide decimals up to 4 decimal places by 0.001 or 1,000, so we change the divisor into a whole number by multiplying it by 1,000, or the shortcut way is to move the decimal point 3 places to the right. And again, we will also do the same thing with our dividend. And again, if you have their spaces, you just simply annex or put 0 or zeros in the dividend. Ayan. Okay, and again, you will divide the new dividend by the new divisor, just like the usual division. Okay, so did you notice a pattern in dividing decimals by 1/10, 100, and 1,000? May napansin po ba kayong pattern? Let us see. So based on our example, yan, so we have there 43 and 61 hundreds divided by 1/10, divided by 100, and divided by 1,000. So as you can see, so we have there the new dividend in the new divisor. So just like what we did earlier, so we have to change the divisor into a whole number. So that's why you have there 1 as our divisor. And notice our results. So if you divide 43.61 by 1/10, 100, and 1,000. Okay, so what have you noticed? Ano kayo napapansin ninyo, kids? Meron bang pattern? Can you divide decimals by 0.1, 0.01, and 0.001 mentally? Pwede nga ba? Siyempre, pwede. So, yun yung pattern na napapansin ninyo. So, ano kailangan nyo lang gawin? You have to, ayan, okay, do this. So, to divide decimals by 1/10, you just simply move the decimal point of the dividend 1 place to the right. Ayan. So, 1 place dahil ang 0.1 ay may 1 decimal place. So, you have to move 1 place, the decimal point rather, 1 place to the right. Similarly, we will do the same thing with 0.01, but this time, we have to move the decimal point of the dividend 2 places to the right. And lastly, for 0.001 or 1,000, you have to move the decimal point of the dividend 3 places to the right. Ayun. Okay. So, kung babalikan natin yung example, so as you can see, sa 43.61, you have to move the decimal point of 43.61 1 place to the right for 0.1. And for 43.61, you have 2 places to the right. And for 43.61 divided by 1,000, you just simply move the decimal point 3 places to the right. And since you have a space, so we have to annex a 0 there. Okay, so that's the shortcut way of dividing decimals up to 4 decimal places by 0.1, 0.01, and 0.001. Ayan. Okay. So let's have this exercise. Hashtag sweet naman yan. Sana all sweet. Ayan. Let's try to answer this problem. Let's see. In a chocolate factory, nahagutom tuloy bigla. Each bar contains 1,000 kilogram of sweetening mixture. How many chocolate bars can be made from 150 kilograms of sweetener? Ayun. Again, in a chocolate factory, each bar contains 0.001 kilogram of sweetening mixture. How many chocolate bars can be made from 150 kilograms of sweetener? I will wait for your answers. So what will be the answer for this problem? Ayan. So habang hinihintay natin ang ating mga kasagutan, let's have our shoutout muna. Si Hana May Vanyok, good afternoon, watching from San Roque Central Elementary School. Saan kaya yun? San Roque Elementary School. Of course, habang naghihintay, so gusto ko lamang pong pasalamatan ang aking workplace, kung saan po ako nagtatrabaho ngayon. Dahil sa likod ko ay blackboard, ito po yung Las Piñas North National High School. Of course, salamat po sa aking butihing principal, Mr. Carlos Alexander Rigon. And of course, sa aking butihing department head, Ma'am Nympha Simangulabnan. Maraming salamat po. Okay, so let's see.
Hello, Tutor Andre.
Ayun, thank you very much. So kala ko solo flight na ako forever. So batiin po natin lahat. Si Tutor Prince, ayan, good afternoon po, Sir Prince.
Lahat.
Ayan, okay, so far, ayan, Sir Prince, segundahan ko lang muna, ayan. So base sa akin nakikita, ang sagot, si Gerald RV, ang nauna, sagot niya ay 150,000. Pero ang units ay kilometers. Kilometers nga bang units? Kailangan basahin nyo yung
ibang unit ng mga sagot ng ating learners ngayon.
Ayun. Sagot naman ni Arian May, 150,000 kilograms. Uy. Sagot naman ni Kyle Joseph, 15 lang. Si Enaj, ang sagot niya ay 150,000 chocolate bars. Ganon din si Angelique Joyce Quintano. So, iba-iba ang sagot. Pero kadalasan, ang sagot nila sa Tutor Prince ay 150,000 chocolate bars.
Ayan. Kasi malinaw yan sa tanong, di ba? How many chocolate bars? So, ibig sabihin, ilang chocolate bars ang mabubuo from 150 kilograms of sweetener. So, anong tamang sagot, Tutor Andre?
Okay, yun na nga po, Tutor Prince. So, again, tinuro ko na sa kanila, sir, kanina nung wala kayo. Yung shortcut way sa pagkuha ng sagot. Panagdi-divide tayo ng 0.1, 0.01 at 0.001. So, ang gagawin nyo lang, since ang 0.001 ay may 3 decimal places, so we have to move the decimal point of 150, 3 places to the right. So, we have the decimal point on the right side of 0. So, we just move 3 places to the right. And since we have spaces there, so we have to annex zeros. So therefore, our final answer will be 150,000 chocolate bars. Ayun.
Yes. Actually, kahit 150,000 lang, di ba, yung kanilang sagot ay tama na. Kasi nga, nasa mismong tanong naman na yung unit, yung chocolate bar.
Yes, tamang-tama. So very good sa mga nakakuha ng tamang sagot. So again kids, make sure basahin po natin maigi yung problem ha. Okay po? Yes. So hopefully, alam nyo din yung tamang units na gagamitin. So hindi po kilometers, kilograms po.
Yes, hindi rin kilograms.
Okay, kilometers. Thank you very much. So hashtag sweet naman yan. Ang dami mabubuong chocolate, Tutor Prince. 150,000.
Pero kung sasalohin ng isang tao yan, ay diabetes ang kasunod niyan.
Yun na nga, diabetes na nga ang kasunod niyan. Okay, sige po. Let's go to the next lesson. So second lesson is dividing decimals up to 2 decimal places by, this time, kanina, 0.1, 0.01, or 0.001, or 1/10, 100, and 1,000. Take note with TH. This time, we have to divide by 10, 100, and 1,000. Take note, mentally. Ayan. Okay. So, gamit ang inyong
pag mentally ba, kailangan ba? Ano ba? Ilang seconds ba dapat bago maibigay ang sagot, Tutor Andre?
Good question, sir. Pwede mga dapat 3 to 5 seconds.
Ayun. O kaya, Kahit
Mga ganun
isang
eh.
segundo lang pwede na, di ba?
Pwedeng-pwede, yun nga eh.
Or less than a
Kahit
second.
nga, pag-flash ko nga ng problem, may sagot na kagad eh. May
Yes.
ganun eh. Pwedeng
Yun nga lang,
ganun.
syempre, yung may delay niyan sa mga sagot dahil nga, syempre, yung ating internet naman
Live
ay...
stream. Yun,
Yes.
opo. Ayan, okay. So, sige sir. Simulan ko na sir. So, ayan, kids. I'm going to ask you a question. Did you notice a pattern in dividing decimals by 10, 100, and 1,000? Pasinin nyo maigi. Meron po ba kayo napapansin pattern? Okay, so observe nyo maigi ha. So you have there 3.75 divided by 10, 3.75 divided by 100, and 3.75 divided by 1,000. So if you see a pattern, can you tell us, Family Tutor Prince, i-chat nyo nga sa akin, ano kaya yung napansin yung pattern? No?
Tingnan nga natin kung meron na nakasagot.
Sige. Ayan. Ang sagot kasi nila, opo, yes po, yes.
Oo,
Ayun.
kasi did. Yes or
Ano?
no question kasi yung kaninang naitanong. Ito,
Yun nga
meron
po eh.
tayong sagot from James Joseph Estacio Bumatay. The decimals are moved, baka he meant to say the decimal points are moved to the
Yes.
left.
Ayun. Move to the
Tapos
left,
si
ba?
Enaj naman, ang
Maganda.
sabi niya, si Enaj din, parang ganoon din ang kanyang sinabi. I-move naman po yung decimal point pa left. Ayan,
Pa-left
pakaliwa,
po.
pakaliwa.
Sabi ka sa kanta ni Rihanna, to the left, to the left. Ayan. Okay.
Yan.
Sige. So, may sumagot naman pataas po. Si Kyle
Ayan
Joseph.
ba?
Pataas ba? Parang spaghetti lang, pataas ng pataas.
Pataas. Paano yung pataas?
Siguro dahil
I-move
pataas
pataas
din yung
decimal point.
shot nyo dyan, Sir Prince. Ayan. Ayun.
Sorry naman.
Ayun.
Nabit-
Ayun. Si Giancarlo Colanta, decimal move to left. Baka
Yan.
decimal point. You mean?
Oo,
You meant
decimal.
tuloy.
Hindi
Okay, so...
decimil ha, baka may gutom na sa atin. Decimil.
baka nagutom sila sa chocolate, sir. Ayan. So actually, tamang sagot ninyo, no? So kung kanina, sa pagdi-divide natin ng 0.1, ng decimal by 0.1, 0.01, and 0.001, na-move tayo ng decimal point, the number of places to the right. This time naman, kapag dividing decimals naman tayo by 10, 100, and 1,000, you just simply move the number of places to the left. So tama ang inyong observation. Again, paano nyo malalaman kung ilan ang movement ng decimal point? So you will be determining, yes, okay, may sumagot dito. Sabi ni Gerald RV, decimal point, move the number of zeros to the right daw, to the left, actually, yon. So baka gustong pahiwati ni Gerald RVI yung bilang ng zeros sa divisor. Yes, actually, that is correct. So you will determine the number of places to the left base sa number of zeros nung given divisor. So for example, ayan, so in dividing a decimal number by 10, 100, or 1,000, consider the number of zeros in the divisor. Ayun. Tama nga. So again, so if you look at our example, so 10 has 1 0. So it has 1 0. So since 10 has 1 0, so you will move the decimal point of 3.75 one place to the left. That's why you arrive at 0.375. Similarly, for 3.75 divided by 100, since 100 has 2 zeros, so we move the decimal point 2 places to the left. Sorry, wala akong pen na matino. Naiwan ko yung aking pen. Kaya mouse yung ginagamit natin. So again, we have, of course, you have to annex again a 0 on the left side of the decimal point. Kasi nga, gaya nung nabanggit namin ni Tutor Prince, baka mapagkamala namin dumi. No? Kaya,
at saka importante, significant yung 0 natin dyan sa kaliwa ng 3, tama?
Yes, tama po, Tutor Prince.
Place na yon. May narinig bang umiyak na bata?
Yan nga po eh. Okay lang po yan, sir. Ayan. So, for the last example, since 1,000 has 3 zeros rather, 1,000 has 3 zeros, so we have to move the decimal point of 3.75 3 places to the left. So, 1, 2, and 3. Ayun. So, again, you have to annex 2 zeros since you have 2 spaces, and you have to put again another 0 as our placeholder. So we have now 0.00375. Ayan. So therefore, you already know, kids, how to divide decimals up to 2 decimal places by 10, 100, and 1,000 mentally. Ayun. Kaya sinasabi namin na mentally, di ba, Tutor Prince? Ayun. Okay. Sige po. So ayan, gaya nga po ng binanggit ko kanina. So kapag nag-divide tayo ng decimals by 10, you have one place, move the decimal point of the dividend one place to the left. Similarly, for dividing decimals by 100, you will move the decimal point of the dividend 2 places to the left. And lastly, for 1,000, move the decimal point of the dividend 3 places to the left. Okay. So let's have this problem. Kanina, hashtag sweet naman yan. Ngayon, ito naman, may mas matamis pa sa tsokolate. Siyempre,
Sobrang
yung isa sa
sweet
ingredient
naman
ng
yan.
tsokolate, which is the sugar. Ayan. So,
Kanina,
sige, Tutor Prince,
sweetener.
could you do the honors po na
Sige,
pabasa
ito
po
ang
ng
problem
problem?
natin. 484 and 6 tenths kilograms of sugar is to be placed equally in 100 bags. How many kilograms will be in each bag? Ayan. So
Ayun.
wala akong nakikitang numbers, no? Pero spelled out kasi yung ating decimals, yung decimal number dyan. Tama?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So, ang decimal natin ay in words.
Yes. 484
Words.
and 6 tenths.
Ayan. Sino kaya ang makakasagot ng tama? So, kailangan marunong pa rin kayong magsulat ng in decimal form kapag word ang given, no? Ayan. So, habang hinihintay natin, sir, ayan. So, batiin ko lang yung aking buting tropa. Ayan.
Yes.
Si Nino Christian Ang. Hello to you. Pare. Salamat sa panonood. Okay. So, may mga
Mukhang
sagot na ba tayo,
pare-parehas
Tutor
sila ng
Prince?
sagot. Yes, pare-parehas sila ng sagot na 4.846 or 4 and 846 thousandths kilograms.
Kilograms.
Tama ba yun?
Okay. Let's see. Mukhang pare-parehas naman sila ng sagot, no, Tutor Prince?
Mhm.
So, syempre, base sa problem, you have to write this first, 484 and 6 tenths in decimal form. So that will be 484. So 484. And the word end means the decimal point.
Decimal point. Yes.
So you have decimal point there. Sorry for my decimal point. Again, I have no pen. And you have 6 tenths. So that's why you have 6 on the right side. So therefore, you have 484.6. And since we are going to place the 484.6 kilograms of sugar equally in 100 bags, so we have to divide 484.6 by 100. And again, if you learned earlier about our lesson on this, you have to move the decimal point 2 places to the left, since 100 has 2 zeros. So you have 1, 2. So therefore, you'll end up at 4.846
Ayan, ibig sabihin, tama ang inyong mga sagot, learners.
Okay, very good.
4.846.
Galing.
Okay.
Ayan, palakpakan natin sila, Tutor Prince. Ayan, kasi wala yung clap effect natin eh. Ayan.
Virtual clap na
Okay.
lang.
Ayan, ang gagaling ng ating mga kids, no?
Yes.
Madali sila matuto ngayon, Tutor Prince. Ayan. Okay. Let's have our lesson 3. So our next lesson, tapusin lang natin. So we have differentiating, terminating from repeating, non-terminating decimal quotients. So paano nga ba malalaman kung ang given decimal ay terminating or repeating non-terminating? Ayan. Okay, so how do we differentiate? Let us find out. So let us find out by having this problem here. Ayan. So hashtag laro tayo. Ayan. Nakakamiss maglaro, no, Tutor Prince?
Oo naman. At nakakamiss din makakita ng mga naglalarong bata sa eskwelahan,
Kaya nga
sa
eh.
labas ng daan.
Talagang
sa,
ano.
sa daan, sa labas ng mga bahay. Ayun.
Yes, talagang nakakamiss. Sige po. Okay lang po ba, Tutor Prince? Do
Yes,
the
so
honors
try ko na.
po.
Yes, Mabuhay Elementary School conducted school meet. Girls team won 1 out of 3 or 1/3 game in badminton, and boys team won 3 out of 4 or 3/4 of a game in volleyball. The school sports coordinator converted the averages of each team in decimal form. Yan.
Okay. So let's see. So again tandaan yung problem. Yung girls daw, nanalo na. Thank you to Tutor Prince. Ayan. So ang girls nanalo daw 1 out of 3. in badminton. At yung boys naman, 3 out of 4 sa volleyball. Talagang magagaling yung ating mga students sa Mabuhay Elementary School. Mabuhay! Ayan. Okay, sige, let's see. Ayan, umiyak tuloy si baby. Sumigaw yata. Nagulat sa sigaw ko. Ayan. Okay, so this is how the school sports coordinator converted the averages of each team into decimal form. So let us see. So look at the following computation. So as you can see, what did we do in order to determine the average? Sige nga, kung na-observe ninyo ang solution or yung nakikita na sa screens nyo right now, paano nga ba natin kinuha o paano ba kuhanin yung average? Ayan. So girls team won 1 out of 3. Sinulat natin siya. Or in fraction, that is 1/3. And for boys team, they have won 3 out of 4 or 3/4 game in volleyball. Ayan. So what have we noticed? So we only divide, di ba, Tutor Prince? Ayan. So we only divide the numerator by the denominator. Ayan. So just like when you had our lesson in changing or converting fractions to decimals, di ba? So kung natatandaan nyo yung lesson nyo doon, kung paano mag-convert ng fractions to decimals, you have to, of course, divide the numerator by the denominator. So in our case, for 1/3, you have 1 divided by 3. And you arrive at the quotient 0.333 with the bar above. Let us find out ano nga ba ibig sabihin ng bar na yan. And of course, for the boys team, you have 3 over 4 or 3/4. That's 3 divided by 4. And you'll end up at 0.75. So the question is, which of the two decimals is the terminating decimal and which is the repeating non-terminating? So paano nga ba natin malalaman kung terminating or repeating non-terminating? Ayan. So ito po yung mangyayari. Okay. So let us have first terminating decimal. So when you say a terminating decimal, it results when the division process terminates. Kaya nga terminates. Ibig sabihin titigil, di ba?
Oo.
Or in
Hindi
English,
magpapatuloy.
stop. Ayan. Stop! Ayan. Or stops with a 0 remainder. So kapag nag-divide tayo ng numerator by denominator at nagkaroon tayo ng 0 remainder, ibig sabihin we stop there, then that decimal quotient is terminating. Ayan. So in our example, of course, we have the boys team. So the average of the boys team is 0.75. So that is an example of a terminating decimal. Ayan. Since our remainder is 0. Ayan. So hopefully kids, na-gets nyo kung ano ibig sabihin ng terminating decimal. So again, terminating decimal, it is when you divide the numerator by the denominator, you'll end up at a 0 remainder. So you will stop there. Okay. And of course, on the other hand, we have the repeating non-terminating decimal. So ano nga ba ibig sabihin nun? Ayan. So repeating non-terminating decimal, so it results when the division process never ends. So walang katapusan. Hindi ka titigil. Hindi ka tulad ng terminating, titigil ka kagad, di ba? Kapag ito naman, repeating non-terminating, walang katapusan. So it has always a remainder. Ayun. So lagi siya may remainder. And of course, as you all know, remainder, it is a digit or group of digits in the decimal part that keeps repeating itself without end. Yun yung usually na yung mga digits natin sa quotient ay paulit-ulit na. Kaya nga siya tinawag na repeating non-terminating. Di ba po, Tutor Prince? Ayun. Tama po ba? Ayun.
Yes, tama.
And of course, kung napapansin nyo kanina, and actually do sa homework natin earlier, di ba meron dong parang bar? Ayun. Yung bar na yon ay tinatawag din natin na vinculum. Ayun. So the bar, or also known as the vinculum, so it is placed on top of the repeating digit. So usually, inilalagay natin ang vinculum doon sa digit or digits na umuulit. Kapag nag-divide tayo ng, kapag nagkaroon tayo ng repeating non-terminating, kung ano yung digits na umuulit, yun yung lalagay natin ng bar. So sa case natin, doon sa girls team, Tama yung sagot ni Melai's key. Ayan. So the quotient 0.333 or pwede rin siyang isulat, sir, no, as 0.3,
0.33
then may bar
tapos
sa
may
taas. You
pitong
can
bar.
also consider
Yes.
that as our decimal. Pwede na din yan. Simple as that, no? So the quotient
Mhm.
0.33333 or so on and so forth, or 0.3 bar, is a repeating non-terminating decimal. So since as you notice, the remainder is always 1. So kahit anong gawin natin, pag nag-divide tayo ng 1 by 3, paulit-ulit lagi yung
Yes.
denominate, ay yung ating remainder rather, yung ating
Mhm.
remainder na 1. So pag naglagay ka ng 0, bring down 1, then lagay ka ng 0, tapos bring down 1 ulit. So wala tayong katapusan. Hindi tayo matatapos
Yes.
dito. So laging paulit-ulit yung process. So that's why 1/3 is when you divide 1 by 3, the result or the quotient is a repeating non-terminating decimal. Ayun. Okay.
Mhm.
Sige po. So let's see. Let's study more
Ayan.
examples of terminating and repeating non-terminating decimal quotients.
Mhm.
So ayan.
Yes.
So let's
Ayan.
see. Okay,
Mhm.
so if you try to analyze the given numbers, so we have the different given. So we have there a fraction, 2/10. We have there a simple division statement or division expression rather, 8 divided by 12. You have their phrase 10 out of 100. And you have there the division sentence 40 or 5 divided by 40 rather, or 40 divides 5. So how are you going
Yes.
to get the quotient? Again, you will divide for
Mhm.
fraction denominator by you divide the numerator by denominator. And if you do the division process, so you will arrive at the following. Ayan. Okay. So as you can see, 2/10 is equivalent to 0.2 or read as 2/10. Tama? Ayun. So binabasa natin siya as 2/10. So therefore, it's a terminating decimal since nagtapos tayo. Or the remainder is 0. Similarly, for 10 out of 100, you have there 0.1 or 1/10. That's terminating decimal. And 5 divided by 40, the result is 0.125 or 0.125. That is a terminating decimal. But on the second given, 8 divided by 12, we arrive at 0.66 na may bar or just simply 0.6 bar. So that is an example of a repeating non-terminating decimal. Ayun,
Ayan. Actually,
okay.
may tip tayo na pwedeng maibigay sa ating mga learner na by simply looking at the denominator, pwede nyo nang malaman kung terminating ba siya na decimal or repeating non-terminating decimal. So we will use the prime factorization. Kung yung prime factorization ng denominator ay may 2 lang or may 5 lang or 2 and 5 magkasama, ibig sabihin, yung fraction natin ay terminating, kagaya ng 2/10 kasi ang 10 diyan 5 times 2. So yun ang prime factorization ng 10. May 2 tsaka 5. Ang 100, ang prime factorization niyan ay 2 raised to ano nga ba? 2 raised to 2 times 5
2
raised to 2. Ibig
squared.
sabihin 2 and 5 lang ang basis natin doon. Ibig sabihin magkasama yung 2 and 5, terminating yung decimal. Ganun din sa 40. Kasi ang 40, that is 8 times 5, meaning 2 raised to 3 times 5. So again, may 2 doon tsaka 5. So pag ganun ang prime factorization, may 2 o kaya 5 o kaya 2 and 5 magkasama, definitely terminating ang ating decimal. Pero kapag hinaluan mo ng ibang prime numbers, ang prime factorization magiging repeating non-terminating ang decimal. Kagaya ng 8 over 12 kasi ang 12, 2 raised to 2 yan times 3 kasi 4 times 3 yon. So 2 raised to 2 times 3,
Yes.
you have there 2 and 3. Hinaluan mo ng 3 yung 2. Ibig sabihin, expect that the decimal will be repeating non-terminating. So ganun ang ating tip.
Ayun,
Okay?
very good tip. Wow, talagang marami talaga natututunan yung ating mga students. Very good tip,
Yun.
Tutor Prince. Okay, sige, try natin kung kaya nating i-apply yan sa ating exercise. Sa isang mabilisang
Yes.
exercise tayo. Ayan. I think this will be the last exercise. Ayan.
Mm-hmm.
Then patapos na rin tayo. Okay, so answer in the comment box. You tell whether each statement is true or false.
Okay.
Ayan.
So number
So we have
1,
3
basahin
statements
natin.
there. Sige, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Pabasa po.
9 divided by 10 is equal to 0.9 or 9/10. which is a terminating decimal. True
Ayan.
or false ba yan?
So, pwede nyo lang sabayin, pagsabayin
Yes.
siguro para mabilisan tayo. 1, 2, 3 na po ang pagsagot.
Yes.
For problem number 2, ayan, basahin ko naman, sir. Ha? The decimal value of 3/5 is a repeating, non-terminating decimal. Is it true or false?
Yes.
And for number 3,
Number
Tutor
3,
Prince?
when you divide 7 by 30, the quotient is a terminating decimal. True
Yun.
or false?
Okay, ayan. So, iba-iba yung mga sagot ng kids natin. May nagsasagot na number 1 lang, number 2 lang, number 3. Make sure lang po na paki-indicate po yung number natin. And kung kaya, sagutin na natin lahat ng kumpleto. Okay,
By the way,
so,
dun pala sa naibigay kong tip kanina, that
yes,
applies kapag naka-simplest form ang ating fraction. Okay?
yes, tama.
So, ano ang tamang set of answers kaya, Tutor Andre?
Okay, sige po. So, basahin ko lang muna ang answers nila. So, sagot ni Adrian Ray Rivera, 1, 2, 3, true, false, false. Same with Henry Stephen Kadapan, true, false, false. Si Melay Ski, true, false, false. Ayan. So, actually, Tutor Prince, na nakikita ko, si Angelique Joyce Quintano, ganun din, true, false, false. Si Enaj, ayun. Pare-pare sila ng answer, sir. True, false, false. So let's see. So actually for number 1, obviously, that is true. Yes. Kasi 9 divided by 10 can be written as 9 over 10. And di ba, if you read 9 over 10, that is 9/10. Or in decimals, that is 0.9. And obviously 10, when you get the prime factors of 10, that is 2 and 5. Gaya na nabanggit ni Tutor Prince. So therefore, it's a terminating decimal. So it's true. Okay, very good. For number 2, we have 3/5. So since 5 is our denominator, and take note, 3/5 is already in simplest form. So para malaman ninyo kung terminating siya or repeating non-terminating, look at the denominator. So the denominator is 5. So since 5 yung ating denominator, so it should be a terminating decimal. So that is a false statement. And if you try to divide 3 by 5, the decimal answer there is 0.6 or 6/10. Ayun, nawala po si Tutor Prince. Okay, so let's have number 3. So for number 3, when you divide 7 by 30, the quotient is a terminating decimal. So since the denominator is 30, or our divisor is 30, so we get the prime factorization of 30. That is 2 times 3 times 5. So 2 times 3 times 5. Ini-3 ka doon. Dapat 5 lang eh. At saka 2. So therefore, automatic, non-terminating. Repeating non-terminating na siya. Yes, so kulang po. So therefore, number 3 statement is a false statement. Okay, ang gagaling na ng ating mga kids. Okay, sige po. So mukhang, and that's the end of our first quarter for grade 6 math for school year 2021-2022. Yay! Nakatapos tayo ng first quarter natin. Ang gagaling. Congratulations! Ayun.
At syempre, meron tayong iiwang sa ating mga learners na tawag dito,
homework.
Yes, yung sumasagot ng homework, they reach an extra mile. Okay?
Yes.
Sa ating bawat session.
So, ayan. So, muli magbibigay kami ni Tutor Prince ng homework ninyo, my dear students. And to answer this problem, please post this in our DepEd ETUlay FB page. And please use the hashtag Mat6 end of Q1. Ibig sabihin, ito na kasi yung last lesson. And also pala nakalimutan natin, dagdagan na rin Tutor Prince, dagdagan natin ng hashtag ETUlay level up. Level up. Ayan, sorry for my penmanship. Okay, so ang instructions natin, yun nga po eh, naiwan ko kasi yung aking pen, sayang. Okay, so letter A, you tell whether the given decimals are terminating or repeating non-terminating. Ayan. So determine nyo muna kung kung terminating siya or repeating non-terminating. And for letter B, you find a fraction in simplest form with the decimal equivalent of the following. Ayan. So ano nga ba yung mga given decimals natin? Ayan. So for number 1, okay, 6.7 or 6 and 7/10. For number 2, you have, Tutor Prince?
0.26 or 26 hundredths.
Ayun. And last na lang po.
Ayan, yung 0.4 with a vinculum or a horizontal bar on top.
Bar. Okay. Ano kaya? Ito yung challenging yung number 3. May makakuha kaya niya.
Yes. So, dalawang kanil ibibigay na sagot. Yung type ng decimal at yung fraction in simplest form na equivalent sa decimal na ibinigay natin.
Okay. Yeah. So take note, kids, simplest form dapat yung fractions. Ayun. Okay.
Fraction, depende sa decimal na binigay ay, ano ba? Pwede ba, kung improper siya, or mixed number ba ang ating ipapasulat sa kanila?
Kung improper po siya, i-mix number natin, Tutor Prince, no?
Yes,
tama.
Okay. Ayan, kasi ang number 1 ay mixed decimal. So, it will be equivalent to a mixed number. Ayan. Okay?
Yes. Okay. So, mixed number po if it's improper, ha? Okay. So, bago tayo magtapos, Tutor Prince, you have to say something po, no?
Yes, of course. Unahin ko na yung sasabihin namin sa inyo. On behalf of Tutor March, Tutor Andre.
Yes.
So, ang first quarter kasi parang naging probationary period dahil nga mayroon tayong tinatawag na mentor-mentee at ikaw ang napiling mentee for Math 6 for this school year. At nakita naman namin ang iyong dedication at commitment para sa ETUlay, sa Mathematics especially. At kaya naman, sa ating finale week na ito ay dinideclare na namin na ikaw ay isang full-fledged tutor. So ayan, so by next quarter, by quarter 2, by next week na yun ay wala na tayong mentor o mentee. Kumbaga tayo ay of equal footing na kumbaga. Ayun.
Okay,
so,
yun.
Yes. Kumbaga, you are really one of us na. Yan. So, full-fledged tutor ng ating tutor and ating math bay. At tingnan natin next year kung tayo ba ay matadagdagan pa ng isa sa pagtuturo sa ating mga yan. So, congratulations, Tutor Andre.
Maraming salamat po, Tutor Prince. Congratulations din po. And of course, ayan, sir. Proceed na po tayo sa next natin, sir, no?
So, para sa ating mga huling minuto for our finale episode, ayan, nice nating i-recognize, syempre, ang school, yung school muna, na pinaka-supportive sa ating session every Friday from week 1 hanggang ngayong week na ito, na finale week na natin. Wow. At ayan ay, ang iba kundi ang
ito na, tan-tananan!
Siyempre, ang Santa Cruz Central Elementary School, okay, of SDO Laguna Region 3. Yan ang ating ETUlay School for Mathematics or ang ating most supportive school. Yan ang ating certificate. Siyempre, signed yours truly, si Tutor Andre, ang ating kapitan ang ating principal na si Sir Madge at ang ating head ng ating EdTech unit na si Sir Mark Anthony C. Congratulations, Santa Cruz
Central Elementary School for the most supportive school. Ayan, congratulations po. And sundan ko na rin ang ating mga susunod na awards, sir. Basahin na natin. Okay. So next naman po, Certificate of Recognition is presented to, ayan, sa ating suking-suking.
Solvemate from week 1 to week 7. Last week. Si Enaj Erica A. Galang.
Ayun.
Kaya
hanggang ngayon, sir, consistent pa din.
Alamat, shooting, yes. Kaya, kumbaga kung ang score natin every week ay 3 points, naka-perfect siyang 21 points. Kasi consistent siyang soulmate. Ayan.
From weeks 1 to 7. Ayan. Congratulations, Enaj. Susunod naman po, ayan ang ating Matsigasig Cutie, Nerwin P. Negal Jr. from Santa Cruz Central Elementary School. Ayan. Congratulations.
Nakakuha ng score from 10 to 12 points. Dahil may mga mathematisin yan, tapos naging soulmate siya eventually.
Ayan. Galing. Congratulations, Nerwin.
Sino pa ang ating Matsigasig?
Ayun, ito. Si Maria Erian May B. Zacarias mula sa Sorsogon East Central Elementary School. Wow! Congratulations.
And SDO Sorsogon Region 5 naman, Bicol Region, mga Oragon. Pengi naman.
Baka naman, Bicol Express.
Okay. Next na tayo.
Ice cream. Okay, next. Ito naman
Ayan.
ating matsikap cutie. Ayan.
Nakakuha
Congratulations.
ng, I think, mula 7 o kaya 9 points.
Wow, not bad. Okay, congratulations kay Jeric Johan S. Ramirez from Santa Cruz Central Elementary School, SDO Laguna, Region
Yan,
3.
from our
Wow.
school yan, si Jeric. Next na tayo.
Ayan, of course,
Another
sama na rin natin si Gracie N. Kionisala from Santa Cruz Central Elementary School. Wow.
Ako rin yan, I think mga between 7 to 9. Between 7 and 9 points. Yan.
Wow, ang galing naman ni Gracie. Suki din natin kasi ito si Gracie. Next,
Yes.
ito naman sir, ang Matyaga Chuti.
Yes. Pag Matyaga Chuti ka, ibig sabihin, ang pinaka-highest points mong na-earn ay 6 from 4. From 4 points to 6 points. Ayan.
Wow,
Matyaga.
okay, congratulations. Kay Ian Gail R. Dilay, mula pa din sa Santa Cruz Central Elementary School, SDO Laguna, Region 3. Wow.
Yes.
Talaga mga
Ating most
consistent.
Yan. Thank you, Sir Renz Pabico. Shoutout sa iyo.
Ay, salamat po sir sa pagkuha po ng ETUlay bilang inyong guide sa mga bata nyo po dyan. Ayan, of course, dagdag ko na rin. Okay, kay Mr. Adrian Ray D. Rivera. Isa pa din, Matyaga. Yun nga po, sayang. Matyaga Chuti pa din. From San Pedro Villa Concepcion Elementary School, SDO Isabela, Region 2. Ayun. Kay Adrian Ray D. Rivera. Ayan. So,
Ayan. At from the same school, meron pa tayong isang Matyaga Chuti, si Gerald RVD Cantor. Yan,
yes, that's correct.
Elementary school
din natin.
Ayan.
Okay, next na po natin, Tutor Prince. Si Henry Stephen Kadapan.
Yan, ito yung mga kumbaga habol lang. Okay? Talagang kahit paano ay nakapag-comply, nakapag-effort din na magsumagot ng homework, nakakuha ng 1 hanggang 3 points. Si Henry Stephen Kadapan lang isa sa mga yan. So from our most Santa Cruz Central
Elementary School talaga. Talagang masisipag talaga itong mga students natin sa Santa Cruz Central Elementary School. Wow! Dagdag ko na rin, Tutor Prince, sa matsipag Chuti, si Maria Riana Mitisha T. Sempron. Wala pati sa Santa Cruz Central Elementary School ang ating matsipag Chuti pa din. Wow! Ang galing! And of course, last, si Tristan Uriel Cruz mula sa Santa Cruz Central Elementary School, SDO Laguna, Region 3. Congratulations. Ang ating matsipag Chuti.
Yes, congrats. Ay, meron pa rin. Siyempre, si Gwyneth ay parte ng ating roster of awardees. Siya rin ay matsipag Chuti. Siya naman ay from Aurora A. Quezon Elementary School from SDO Quezon City, National Capital Region. Congrats, Gwyneth.
Wow, galing. Ayan din, sir, yung name ng school ko, Aurora A. Quezon Elementary School, pero sa Manila naman.
Ano ba matter?
Yes. Opo, pero sa Manila, sir. Kasi meron din branch sa Manila. Ayun, congratulations to you, Gwyneth Angeline L. Tolentino. Diyan ang alma mater ko, pero sa Manila branch. Okay. Ayan. Of course, dagdag rin natin sa matsipag Chuti, Mikaela C. Makatangay. Ayan. Mikaela C. Makatangay. Wow. Ang galing.
From West Integrated School from SDO Batangas City, Region 4A. Yan. Congrats, Mikaela.
Wow.
At meron pa ba tayong isa pa?
I think meron from Batangas. Congratulations, Mikaela C. Makatangay. Ayun, meron pa po. Ayan, mula naman sa Abangan Sur. Wow, kabang-abang ito. Abangan Sur Elementary School, SDO Bulacan Region 3, si Princess Lorraine T. Del Rosario. Congratulations. Matsipag Chuti pa din. Wow, ang galing. Nakakatuwa naman. And yun ito ang ating end of awardees.
Sila ang ating kumbaga final 14. Kasi 14 silang lahat, I think. Tama ba?
Wow, final 14.
Saka yung isa nating school awardee na most supportive school. Ayan, ano pa ating kailangan sabihin?
Ayan, so makikisuyo na rin kami sa inyo, sa ating mga dear students, teachers, parents na din po. So please scan the QR code shown on your screens So we would like to hear and know your thoughts and feedbacks on how we can improve your experience. So hopefully, ay tumugon po kayo sa ating mga feedbacks or kung meron kayong mga gusto pang i-dagdag or improve pa namin, hopefully ay makikinig po kami sa inyo. Okay po? Ayan. Sige po. May matadagdag pa po tayo, Tutor Prince?
Yes, syempre, your opinion, your suggestions, your recommendations matter to us. Know that talagang iniisa-isa ni Tutor Madge ng aming principal at kinakaskid niya yan sa amin para makapag-come up kami with sound decisions para makapag-benefit ang lahat sa magiging pagbabago kung kailangan may changes na i-implement. Yes. Okay?
Okay.
With that, I think
so, yun na po.
Our
for
final
comments and suggestions, yan.
Yes, for quarter 1, finale na talaga ito. So thank you so much, learners, fellow teachers, and dear parents sa pagsubaybay ninyo sa amin ni Tutor Andre, ang ating math bay from week 1 hanggang ngayong week. Na kumaga ito ay week 9 ng quarter 1.
Yes, week 9 po.
So asahan niyo tuloy ang inyong pagsuporta hanggang dulo ng school year 2021-2022. Tutor Andre?
Yes, so see you all next week pa din for our start of our second quarter for grade 6 math. So thank you for comments and suggestions. Please do email us at edtech@deped.gov.ph. So up next na po, si Tutor Rose Ann and Tutor Jolly of Math 7. So muli, maraming salamat po sa inyong pagtutok. And see you all next week. Keep safe and God bless. Happy weekend. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Stay healthy. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Tutor Prince. Congratulations.
Thank you, Tutor Andre. Ingat ka palagi. Thank you.
Okay. Likewise po. Ayun.
Ang husay naman! Natapos mo ang iyong tutorial session kasama ang iyong mahusay na ETUlay tutor. May bago ka bang natutuhan? I-share na yan gamit ang hashtag #ETUlayLevelUp. Huwag aalis ha, dahil may susunod pang programa na pwede mo ring panoorin at salihan. Dahil naghihintay na ang iyong mga tutors. Happy learning dito sa ETUlay!